It's going to be a football game tonight now. No doubt. It's going to be a football game here. Okay. I done been here before. All right, let's go, baby.
9. Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Vaughn Miller did it again.
Alabama back on top of the college football world.
Ladies and gentlemen, football to the max.
Your host, Sean Garmer, Gary Vaughn, and Randy Isbell.
Hello and welcome to Football to the Max. Yeah, it's been a little bit since we did a show, since the beginning of June, and it's been even further since then that we've had Randy on here since 3 weeks? Something like that.
Yeah, it feels like longer.
Yeah, I think June 24th is what it says on here for me. But, yeah, guys, I mean, lots happened since then, at least for us personally. Not, we kind of talked about it the last time Gary and I did this, but they're starting to get into those camps now, the mandatory mini camp. Still not totally in training camp yet, but we're getting closer and closer to having to do those back to the two-a-days with the previews and all that. So, but before we get there, how's everything going? Randy, I know you and I had a lot to do with the E3 that just passed and everything. Just now it's kind of back to normal.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for everything that I bought in my head while watching E3. So I'm still going through all of that process right now.
Oh gosh, yeah. All the things that were like, yeah, I'm gonna get that, or somebody's asking me for that, or that's gonna be interesting, certainly. Gary, I mean.
Yeah, for me personally, you guys are the video game guys. Me, I've just been kind of, doing some family things, canceling vacations to Disney World and the zoo and things like that. So, besides that, I'm just, kind of hanging out and getting ready for all the great stuff we got tonight. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like since last time, I think we might have talked about it in this way, Gary, but since the last time we were on, it's been now revealed that Aqib Talib shot himself in the leg. Man.
We talked about that, though. That was my deal. And now that we have Randy here, I got to ask you, Randy. Okay, so I mentioned Plexico Burress when we were talking about this and the fact that he did the same thing, shot himself, didn't shoot anybody else, but Plexico Burress got in some trouble with the league over that. Don't you think that Aqib Talib should face some similar consequences?
Well, I think he was going to face consequences either way. Just for the fact that he had the gun. I don't think Plexico got in trouble for shooting himself. He got in trouble for having a gun on him illegally, period. I do find it funny that all of this story kind of has broke and come to find out that he shot himself. I remember when the Burr situation happened and all of the jokes that came from it, and I'm trying to rack my head around. I had a fantasy team that year that was called I Plaxidentally Shot Myself. And now I have to...
Wow.
Something I did steal from a website, but I absolutely loved it. So now I have to come up with something with Talib for a fantasy team name this year. But crazy story. Glad it's more of a humorous part and not, really life-threatening or anything like that. With all the other terrible news that's been going on, at least we can laugh at this one and not go, well, a football player got shot and was killed today. So, just a weird story.
Yeah, very weird. And I think I have a name for you. I think he needs to leave his gun at home.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Or just don't be in a, or just don't be in a club at 4 a.m. That might help you.
Well, especially before you're going to D.C. with the rest of your teammates to meet the president and go to the White House. Yeah, maybe it's not such a good idea.
But moving on to other Bronco news, because the Broncos win the Super Bowl, but they did get their rings this week, so there's that. But and they did re-sign Brandon Marshall to a 4-year deal, so he's got money. But their Super Bowl MVP, he has not gotten the money that he wants, and he says there is no way. No chance in hell that he is playing under his 2016 franchise tag. Is Von Miller being a baby? Or is he right to turn down this $114 million contract because it doesn't have enough money guaranteed? And will he not play? Do you think he really doesn't play under this franchise tag?
Well, my first question to you, Sean, is what day is it today?
Today is Friday, June 17th.
Exactly. June 17th. I am not worried about anything Von Miller says publicly until August 17th. All of this is posturing. He has also said in the past that he will absolutely, there's no chance he will miss time before this, and now there's no chance I'm playing. He's doing everything he can to get as much money as he possibly can, and going out publicly and saying something like this, he's trying to put the Broncos in a corner. So they will up the stakes and give him the money that he feels he deserves. And he deserves a ton of money. And I'm not saying he's being a baby right now. He is in the business of Von Miller, and I 100% understand it. But as far as, am I concerned he won't play this year? I can't say anything on June 17th. Once we get close to the season and he starts missing preseason games, then I will take his threat seriously. But until then, it's just posturing to me.
Yeah, and you're very, right on that, I think. But on the other hand, I'm just going to throw out a prediction, just for kicks and giggles. I think that we can take this pretty serious in a way because we saw Des Bryant try this. We've seen other players do this. And I think that they really do feel very vindicated in what they're doing here because of the fact that they need their guaranteed money to basically set themselves up in case of a problem. They never know when they're going to get injured. They never know what down is their last down in this game. And if they go in with the franchise tag and there's no promise of a year after that contract and they go out for the rest of their lives, they're living basically off that franchise tag money, and that's it. They want multiple years. They want their 6-year deals or 7-year deals with tons of money involved, tons of incentives, bonuses. They want all of that. So this is serious business to them, and I think that they kind of feel like, hey, we see how guys get injured in this league and how it affects them long term. I need to get my money now as soon as I can. I don't need to let this play off and gamble my career on 1 year. So I don't know. I could see him taking it very serious.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously serious about wanting the money, and he's right in that, like what Gary just said. If anything, all these injuries and the thing with the concussions and the ACLs and all this stuff is proven is that you never know when one injury can cause you to not be the guy you were, and then now you won't get the money that you wanted next year or whatever. And I mean, I hear all these people saying, "Oh, well, if I was in Von Miller's shoes, just take the money, and then next year, you just you earn that." Well, I mean, yeah, he was a Super Bowl MVP. I don't know that there's going to be another time where you're going to outdo what you just did. Because if the team falters and doesn't make it that far next year or whatever, with obviously, they don't have the same quarterbacks and the same all that, and they did lose some players in free agency, so there's that to be accounted for. But I think you're dumb if you think Von Miller doesn't have the right to do this. You're not thinking clearly, because the guy, nothing matters without that guaranteed money. Because you can get hurt really badly tomorrow, and you can get cut, or you can, they can all of a sudden try to restructure your contract or whatever, and go, well, you don't deserve this now, and that's going to be a problem for you. That's going to be a problem for Miller and everything, and especially when you throw in the fact that Fletcher Cox, a little bit different position, but not so much, $63 million, half of that guaranteed, 36.3, I think it was. And Von Miller wants more than the money he's getting guaranteed, and I don't blame him. He's getting a lot of money offered to him. But it's just going to be, are the Broncos going to be willing to pay it? Because somebody else will. Somebody else will go around and pay Von Miller that money.
Yeah, and this also not only becomes about just the situation with the money. I think emotionally, these players feel like that they deserve the money that they've kind of put out there to say, hey, this is the quote, we're going to give you what we feel like we're worth. This is what I feel like I've contributed in the past to this team, what I'm going to do in the future for this team. And I think they really kind of get their feelings a little bit hurt when teams kind of say, no, we're going to lowball you a little bit. I'm going to put you in what I think you're worth. And I think they kind of feel like their egos kind of like hit a little bit. And not only that, their personal relationship with the GM or owner kind of is a little bit strained in that sense. And, it happens. I mean, sure, these guys are businessmen, but at the same point, they also have, emotional ties with these teams. So I think that's also part of this.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of agree with Randy. It's hard to take it into account what a player says in June. You still got 3 months right now, for a little bit under 3 months before these games matter. And then not to mention, these guys are, if he holds out in training camp, that's checks that he's missing. That's fines that he's going to have to pay every day he's not there. And will he really want to go through an entire training camp where he's having to pay fines, and then he starts missing game checks, and he goes, okay, I don't want to play under my franchise tag. I'm going to do what I can to make them pay me. The problem is, at the end of the day, you're the one losing out more than, say, the team, until they start playing the real games, and then you start figuring out what he means to the team or not. And by then, how many fines are you paying at that point? How much things have you lost by that point?
And which the teams can dismiss, by the way. Teams will fine you, but if you make a deal, you get a contract done, they can dismiss those fines.
They can, but it's also a way to get Von Miller to, go in line and actually show up.
Exactly.
So we'll have to see. This will be a continuing thing. The funny thing with him taking John Elway out of the picture, though, on Instagram was, I was like, wow, really? We're going that far? We're just removing people from pictures now? Because we're that upset? All right. What is this? You lost your girlfriend and you're getting pissy about it? It's so silly. Ron Rivera gets a 3-year, $19.5 million extension with the Panthers. Totally deserved, right? I mean, after last season.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I mean, he definitely made a team that was not only a Super Bowl contender, but it also made a team that was very dominant throughout the entire year. So, yeah, I think he definitely deserved it.
Well, Randy, I mean, Gary and I talked about the latest with Ryan Fitzpatrick last time we had that they had moved his contract up to at least offering him, I think, like $12 million, but he wasn't budging too much on that. Now Muhammad Wilkerson is upset about not being offered any kind of new contract. He calls it shocking and frustrating, and he says it makes him feel like the team doesn't want him. Think that's the case?
As far as they don't want him, I don't think they would go that far, but they just don't have room for him. And I think that's kind of prevalent. They have a bunch of great defensive linemen. They can't pay all of them. Wilkerson has also been in just a slew of trade rumors over the last year, it seems like. So he's not getting paid by the Jets. I mean, he can be upset all he wants, but he's not going to be with the Jets once that contract is up. They've done their best to try to move him and try to fix other positions. Other teams know that they can just wait and get them at whatever price he goes for once free agency comes, but he's not getting paid by the Jets, and rightfully so. He can be frustrated because he's a great player, but they just don't have room for him on that line as far as they can't spend their entire salary cap on a defensive line, basically, especially when you can't even pay the quarterback that you're trying to get, who, let's just face it, Ryan Fitzpatrick, even though he had a great year last year, is a journeyman quarterback, and they can't even sign him to a deal. So obviously they can't sign a great player like Wilkerson. And like I said, I can understand it, but it's not happening for him.
Yeah. So, we go from one player that wants money. We've heard Michael Bennett saying he wants money. In fact, he calls watching other guys get paid like watching an ex-girlfriend get married. Is it that bad, Gary? Like watching?
Oh, I guess I can kind of see his point in a way, though, that it's kind of an extreme thing. But yes, I mean, I think, these guys.
Do you have that many ex-girlfriends, Michael Bennett? You're watching them all get married.
Yeah. You never know. But no, I mean, I look at it in the instance he does because, you think about it, he puts a lot of time, effort, a lot of energy into preparing for the season, being involved in the season, and all the things he does on, his off time. And, I think he feels like, hey, I'm one of the other guys. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. And to see everybody else getting the rewards for all that hard work, and he's yet to get those, I mean, I could see that. I could see that point. And, it's terrible for a guy like that to have to deal with that. But, I mean, it is what it is. You signed the contract that you got, and you have to live it out and work, until the team really feels like you're worth so much they've got to continue paying you. So I see his point, though. It is kind of bummed out. It's got to be a bummer to see your friends get big paydays and you're not.
It's just another player on a really great team who is one of their better players where, the salary cap takes effect. The same. I mean, I'm not saying the Jets were a great team, but you can only pay so many players so much. And I've talked about this for years, where the Seahawks were going to run into this issue, where all of these players that they got for dirt cheap, that really started performing for them, were going to start asking for money. And here's just another example of it. So basically, if you're Michael Bennett or any of these players, you have to stop and ask yourself, do I want to win championships and take a huge cut, or I have my championship, now I want to get paid, so give me my money. And if it's not Seattle, then who's going to give me my money, basically, is where we're at with a lot of these players.
I don't feel bad for Bennett, though. He signed a deal a year and a half ago. He's still got, I think 3 years or so left on the deal, and he wants more money. It's like, this isn't like somebody that's a free agent right now. It's you still got some time on that deal. You need to play out that deal. It's not your fault that the team won a championship the year after you signed it.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Slay says that he feels he's the seventh best corner in the league, and he actually writes out a list. He feels like the guys ahead of him are Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, Aqib Talib, and Chris Harris from the Broncos, Joe Hayden, and Patrick Peterson, and then he's next. and he says he deserves to be paid like a 7th best corner, more than the $11 million that he's making. He was certainly one of the best players the Lions had last year, a guy you can count on defense. I definitely think he should get paid. I don't know about top 7 money, though.
You gotta love June news here, where everything is, I want paid. I want paid. No, but I want paid.
It's either a scandal or
really
somebody wants money.
Yeah. And not only that, rankings, ranking themselves, not just us ranking them, but they're ranking themselves, guys.
I'll give him credit. At least he did that,
Yeah. I mean, but, I think he definitely did a great job last year. He's definitely proven to be one of the better corners. Am I going to sit here and say that's the right order? I don't know if I'm ready to say that. There may be some other guys maybe I'm not thinking about right now that may be better than him. But, from my memory from this last year, I do remember him being good. And, I get it. You feel like you deserve to be paid the big money because you're in the top 10 or, whatever. But, once again, it goes back to what did you sign and, what's your real value?
Well, Gary, somebody that we thought the Cowboys would be, battling it out with Elliott there, Ezekiel Elliott, for the starting job, or at least that backup job. Don't have to worry about him anymore. Darren McFadden breaks his elbow at home. He is out for 2 months.
Yeah, did you hear how he broke his elbow at home?
No.
Darren McFadden started to fumble his cell phone and took a wild dive to recover it before it hit the ground, and chipped a bone in his elbow, and it's going to be out a couple months. So, yeah, I mean, is this great for Zeke Elliott? Sure.
What, are you making fun of the fumbling, or is this like
no?
It's
really happened.
Wow.
He dropped his phone and tried to get it and broke his elbow.
See, this is why you don't get glass phones.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not much of an anything. I'm not an Apple product geek.
Same thing.
But with that aside, it's just more reps for Zeke Elliott. He's going to get his anyway. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this guy was going to start anyway. Really Darren McFadden would have been taking the backup role no matter what. So does this really affect anything? Not really. And the guy will probably be back in enough time for the halfway point through training camp.
Well, I mean, he could definitely make himself the number 2 and make Alfred Morris a distant third.
Well, the one thing is, you're right. Alfred Morris is more the guy that impacted, because Alfred Morris could take that number 2 spot and say, not so fast.
Right. Joey Bosa decided to skip mandatory minicamp because of a contract problem. Should we be worried about Joey Bosa holding out anymore?
Yeah, it's so funny. He looks like a guy who could be, very kind of tricky on that kind of stuff. But I don't know, Randy. To me, it's hard for me to say a rookie should hold out. I don't know.
Especially with these rookie deals, it's not like how much money they only have a cap on how much money they can give you.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't proven anything, right, Randy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I don't get it. I'm tired of contract disputes, especially from somebody who's 20. Give it up. Just take your money now, earn your keep, and then you're going to get that big contract in a few years. We're over this. That's why they made rookie caps, so we didn't have to go through all of this stuff. You have to earn the big payday down the line. What you did in college got you drafted. It don't matter anymore.
Right.
College is over now. Now earn your keep and make that big payday. Don't be holding out now, because it's not going to prove anything. They'll move on from you.
I don't know. The Chargers kind of need him, but you're right. They will get to a point where it's like, okay, dude, we can only pay you a certain amount, so either you take this or don't. Brashad Perryman has a partially torn ACL. after they feared he had another fully torn ACL. It's the same guy that tore his ACL last year in camp after being drafted. So he still hasn't played a down for the Ravens. And he's supposed to be your next... He's basically supposed to be like Torrey Smith for them. I mean, what do you do? He's supposed to avoid surgery and play at some point this season, but man, if you're the Ravens, just already bad luck with him.
Yeah, this is a bummer. This is a situation when you look at it and you say this is a no-win situation for a guy that just can't seem to get healthy. You hope the best for him. You hope he can overcome it, but this is not good news for a guy to be this young and to already be this injury prone. Red flags are all over the place for me.
Yeah, same. And it's just kind of disappointing that you might have a bust on your hands here, and it's only just because of injuries. It's not like he's not performing well. It's just he can't perform because his body just isn't allowing him to.
Looks like the Lions already signed Andre Roberts, and they're looking at Anquan Boldin. And this is one of the teams that I was sitting there going, I don't think we named them when we originally thought Boldin might go to the Titans. Like, this seems like a total, like, slam dunk if you're the Lions. Like, unless he's asking for too much money, go get him. He's a big body that you could use. He's a veteran leader. I mean, I don't know how you say no at this point, especially with that receiving core you have right now.
Yeah, I think it's a slam dunk for the Lions. I don't think it's a slam dunk for Boldin. When we talked about this a month or so ago, I'm very set in the ways of Boldin needs to find that young up-and-coming team that seems to be a step away from becoming a dominant team and going in there as, that veteran leadership for the wide receiver core and lead the way. I mean, he's been there before. He's won championships. Let him be that guy that just comes in, does his part on the field, but does a bigger part off the field. And then he has a chance to win another championship as well. Don't go to a team like Detroit that I don't think has any chance in the world. Go to a team that you feel is just a step or two away and be that role model and be that role player on the field that really pushes that team over the top. I don't think the Lions is a good fit for him. Now, is he a good fit for the Lions? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a huge Anquan Boldin fan, so I'm biased. But yeah, I think that this guy would do wonders for the Lions. But it just really depends on what's going to happen with the rest of his career, and hey, he's going to be the one deciding where he signs on the dotted line. So
Jim Kelly thinks it's playoffs or bust for Rex Ryan. Is it really
Busted.
like that?
Straight busted then.
Yeah. He's not making the playoffs, says Randy already.
Oh, poor Rex.
I mean, Rex did say they won the offseason, so at least he feels like they won something. He's went from we're winning the Super Bowl to, well, we won the offseason.
Wow.
Right, guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his brother went there to give him a hand, but I think if he gave him a foot, he'd do a lot better. So.
Oh, man. Terrible. Just terrible, Gary.
Hey, everybody has their fetishes.
All right, let's get into our very similar to the way we did the who's going to make it to the Super Bowl draft and the way we did our mock draft or whatever. We're going to do a quarterback draft based on what we think they can do for the team in 2016. This is not potential, not looking at 5 years from now, whatever. Looking at right now what we think they could do for the team in the season coming up. I think Gary always starts us off with these things.
Oh boy! So
is it
I get
Gary
to be.
or is it Randy that starts us off?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
Let Gary
all
start
right,
this.
Gary. Who's your
All right,
number
man.
one pick?
Number one pick. All
Don't
right.
screw it up.
I'm okay. So RG3 is on the board. I kid.
I'm typing it in. RG3
No,
to Gary.
you're not gonna do that. No. I'm going to go with the other sin, and I will have to go to church 3 times tomorrow for saying this, but I am going to go with Aaron Rodgers. I think that, yes, Tom Brady's on this list. There's a lot of other guys that are great on this list. But if you ask me, a solid player, a player that has the mind for the game, a guy that is accurate, a guy that is very competitive, and no matter what happens, he is usually successful unless he's getting beaten down because his offensive line isn't protecting him. So just to me, he's a franchise guy through and through.
All right, Randy.
Me. Okay, so he took my guy. So it's kind of tough as far as the second guy. I mean, if you want to just look at this year, Tom Brady jumps out, but with this year and being suspended for the 4 games, you're kind of out of luck there. So you're kind of looking around at some of these other guys. It's just looking at the list right now, I've realized that the quarterback position has taken a hit. All of these guys to me really, I mean, they have a lot of question marks as far as what they can do. And the way I kind of look at this list is, if I was building a team and it was just for 1 year and not looking at the team in general, who would I want on my team this year? I'm split between 2 or 3, and I'm just going to go with it. I loved what he did last year, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to take Cam Newton as the second guy. I know if he's not on your team, everyone loves to hate him because he's a little bit cocky. I love kind of what he does for an offense, how he gets them motivated around him. It feels like he elevates players to his level because they, like to see the smile and the straight cockiness that he kind of has. I mean, his best receiver talent-wise last year was Ted Ginn Jr., and he made that wide receiver core look awesome. And now he gets Kelvin Benjamin back, which is going to make it even better. So as far as this whole list, everyone has question marks, but I'm going to go Cam Newton.
Well, even though he is suspended for the first 4 games as of right now, I still got to go with Tom Brady. He's still, to me, the best quarterback in the league. And yes, he has Gronk, but he has guys get injured quite often. When they're not around, he still makes those guys that are coming in for an Edelman or an Amendola or whatever look just as good. And, even with sometimes a subpar running game and everything, Tom Brady makes it work. And if I'm going to rely on a guy, got to be Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's a great one. He was definitely one of my top on my list here. Randy had a great point about the fact that this entire quarterback list here has taken a big hit, and a lot of these guys you could kind of see in the same place. But you know what? Right now, as it sits, if you're asking me for a guy that I know can make things happen, a guy that has been proven, a guy that I can feel comfortable without even thinking about it, can get out there and get the job done, I'm going to take somebody maybe you guys think I'm taking too high. He's not exactly youthful, but man, I think I could close my eyes and know the guy's going to do the job. And that's
you're gonna take my guy, aren't you?
I'm going to take Drew Brees.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, and I know he's not been on a winning team, but man, this is a guy that just does it no matter what. He's kind of like my Aaron Rodgers pick. I could not have to worry at all about him.
No, that's where I was going to go next. It's one of those. Can you separate what is around him next year compared to his talent? And with nothing around him last year, he still almost completed 70% of his passes. He led the league and almost threw 5,000 yards. I'm with Gary on that pick. So with him off the board, I'm going to go out to Seattle. I'm going to take Russell Wilson. I'm going to take another one of those young bucks that just seems to be able to lead his team. 68% completion percentage for a kid that's only 27 years old. I think he can only improve. His big issue last year is he got sacked too much. He was trying to do too much, I think, last year around an offensive line that just wasn't great. I think if they can work on him getting rid of the ball faster, he wasn't making a ton of terrible decisions, only the 8 interceptions, but there were times where he didn't want to risk a throw and just took a sack when he didn't need to. So I think if they can work on that, he'll be even better. So I'll take Russell Wilson.
This one's hard. When you start getting around here, I think you got several guys you can take, but I know he's going to be missing someone for an entire season, but who he has left is still pretty damn awesome. Then he gets his running game back. Ben Roethlisberger is he proved it last year when he was healthy. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL, and he has the weapons around him to make it even better. Just if I'm looking at a guy right now, he still kind of holds the ball a little bit too long at times. He's not as good as he was a little bit in years past of being able to escape some of that rush, but he's still a guy you can depend on to take those hits and keep going, and he's going to get that ball out there if you give him a little bit of time, and that's all you need. Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Sean, you took mine right off my plate. Continuing on, looking at this list, and as I try to debate between 3 or 4 guys, I kind of come down to another conclusion. What am I going to go with? Am I going to go with youth, or am I going to go with a veteran, a guy that's been there, been successful, and once again, am not worrying about it too much. I kind of feel like he can get the job done. I, once again, may be reaching here, especially with his year last year being non-existent because of injury. But, man, he has proven in years past he can be money, and I've got to go with him. And hate me all you want. I've got to go with Luck here. I just think that he is a solid player, and if he's allowed to be healthy, a great team around him, he's gold.
I mean, they drafted a whole offensive line for the guy, so somebody better work.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same situation. We've talked about a few of these guys where, they had a little bit of a down year last year, especially Andrew Luck, who was trying to do too much behind a terrible offensive line. So I think he has a talent there. So I can see him being a steal if we were really doing a draft here for Gary. But I am going to go, Gary had the question, do you want to go youth or do you want to go veteran? And at this pick, I'm going to go very much a veteran. I'm going to go with the 36-year-old Carson Palmer, who just continues to find a way to just be an awesome quarterback. He led the league last year in QBR with an 82, almost 6 points higher than anyone else in the league. He gets the job done. He gets so much better with age. 35 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I want a guy on my team that makes the right decisions, and who better than somebody who's been there for years. So give me Carson Palmer.
I feel like I don't want to be that guy, but he has shown so many times that he is the lifeblood of this team. He has now a skill position that was an issue last year. Seems like it's going to be covered. And he has a receiver coming back that was not healthy at all last year either. And playing even though he wasn't. I got to go with my boy Tony Romo. And,
Homer.
Whatever. You can call me all you want with it. It's hard because there's a durability issue. That he could go down in that first game and there you go, he's done for the season or whatever. But if Romo is healthy, he is clearly one of the best quarterbacks in this league. I'd put him in that top 10 for sure. And the dude makes plays. He makes plays that not a lot of quarterbacks make, and he will carry you on drives by himself. Even when he didn't have the running game last year, he proved he could do it. And now you got Elliott. Now you got a Dez Bryant that doesn't have a fractured foot. Who knows what you can get, but it should be some terrific stuff from the Cowboys, and it'll be because of Tony Romo that the Cowboys do anything.
Well, I don't blame either of you guys in your picks. Randy, I battled between Carson Palmer and Andrew Luck on my pick. Sean, I knew it was coming. I thought I was going to have to do it. I'm glad you did. So here I am, and I'm looking at my list once again and deciding who I really want. Out of you guys took two great talents away from me. I've got to go to the next one. Another guy, Texas kind of guy. I got to go with Phillip Rivers. This guy has the heart of a champion. Never been a champion, but definitely has the heart of a champion. He's been unlucky at times because he hasn't had the talent around him. But I guarantee you put him in a spot with talent around him, and this guy has won. I can't tell you how many championships if you ask me. But it may never happen in his career, but he's definitely got the talent.
All right. So, my next pick, Sean was talking about his pick. We were all going to make fun of him because he was taking his guy. You guys might make fun of my pick just because of the name, but looking through stats today, there's something that kind of jumped out on the page to me. Do you know, out of the qualified quarterbacks last year, who had the best completion percentage?
Blake Bortles?
Oh, no.
Eli Manning.
You're in the right division. How about Kirk Cousins?
Wow.
Who completed almost 70% of his passes, 69.8 last year. 29 touchdowns to the 11 interceptions. A huge improvement to last year as he was finally given the team. And now all of the distractions of RG3 are gone. He has come out and said, listen, I have not plateaued. I'm going to get better. And I believe him. Do I think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in his career? Probably not, but I think he's a serviceable quarterback and pretty darn good. And that 70% jumps out to me, especially when he did top 4,000 yards. It wasn't all just dink and dunk. So give me Kirk Cousins.
Well, I think you left me with a great choice in that same division. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go with Eli Manning. He's still one of last year he had a terrific season. In a year where I think a lot of people downplayed him. He has Odell Beckham there. I think Shepard is going to be a great one too. And Victor Cruz says he's going to be ready for training camp. So you get those three together, you got huge potential there. If they can unlock something with that running game, just who knows. But Eli Manning's still one of the best quarterbacks, one of the most dependable quarterbacks. He doesn't get hurt often. When the line is there to keep him from getting sacked, the dude can put it there, and especially in that fourth quarter, depend on Eli Manning because he'll get you those wins, or at least get you a position to win.
And you guys have chosen some excellent choices here, leading me to where I'm saying to myself right now at this point in this draft, if you want to say
You're going to take RG3. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Well, we haven't gotten to the bad leg quarterbacks yet. We'll figure that out later. But no, right now, as it sits, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to go with a guy that, he's going to make some mistakes because a lot of the guys left on this list, let's be honest, they may have great potential, may score, lots of touchdowns, but they make mistakes. I'm going to go with a guy that's youthful, that I think is going to have an amazing year this year, and I think that his future is so bright. I'm going to go the route of a guy by the name of Derek Carr.
Not bad.
No, absolutely. I'm with that pick. I'm a big fan of Blake Bortles, and that's what I'm going to take here. Just because the same thing, upside, I think he makes a lot of mistakes. I think he forces things too often, but to Gary's point, I think these are the future right here. Derek Carr and Blake Bortles could be a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning-like battle in a few years, as long as they can get some experience under the belt and learn how to manipulate a defense a little bit better. But I'm with Gary. I think Derek Carr is going to be the future.
Oh, man. You guys making it difficult again already here. I think this is hard because there's plenty of guys you can go for here.
I mean, you can go Geno Smith.
No.
You can go Mark Sanchez. Colin Kaepernick. I mean, there's so many
this
people.
This guy right here did so much with so little last year. He had his running back for most of the year, but he had to play with a bunch of no-names pretty much because everybody kept getting hurt. And he still would put him in positions to either win or get so close to winning. Joe Flacco, man, for the Ravens. I don't think he gets enough. I think people lambast him more than they give enough credit, and Flacco deserves more credit than he gets.
You know, we record this late at night, but I think Robert just turned over in his sleep, cussing the name Flacco.
Oh, I bet. And Sean, that's to me not a bad pick. I was looking at that name several times, and I'm going to go in the same route you are. I've got to, and this is probably going to get me lots of hate, and that's fine. But this guy, every year, year in and year out, plays with, let's be honest, average talent, and sometimes plays with, lots of gutso, even though he makes, plenty of his own mistakes. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford here. I just think the guy's got tons of talent, just never really surrounded by the complete cast he's always needed.
Yeah. Or Calvin Johnson just doesn't play as well last year.
Yeah. And listen, I was a huge Stafford fan in his early years, and he just hasn't reached that potential that I was hoping. I'm gonna kind of go in this same path that we're going on of quarterbacks that have kind of fallen off a little bit, but still have the potential to lead their team to greatness. And I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. He really struggled last year. His numbers showed it. The record showed it. But I still think that he can lead a team to the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Matt Ryan.
I love the pick.
I can never hate on Matt Ryan when he's got Julio Jones over there to throw to. It's hard to say no to that. Just did make quite a few mistakes last year, as did many of these quarterbacks. So it's hard to not pick up. Now it's getting into a tough territory for me. But I'm gonna go a little. I could go with the old reliable, but I'm gonna take a chance here on a team that we thought might surprise last year, and they kind of did for a little while. They tapered off, but I think another year, and he was certainly a plus in this department of having your receiver core get better. Hopefully you don't lose some guys to injury, and you have that double attack in the running game. Jameis Winston for me for the Bucs. He showed a lot of poise, a lot of confidence to go out there and win some tough games. He can run the ball. He's not Cam Newton, but he can get you yards when you need him, and he's got the offense to back him up. Just hopefully that offensive line helps him out a little bit more.
Oh, I like the gusto here. And I got a name on my list that's very similar to that. But you know what? I kind of want to lean back on a guy that I think is really talented. He's been trying to make strides. I think he's actually gotten a little bit better. And surprisingly enough, I've always kind of gave this guy a hard time. But, I think that, he's got too much talent to let him keep sliding down this list. And that's got to go with Andy Dalton.
I thought I was going to get the steal. Good job. I love the pick.
I appreciate it.
You got to worry about what he has around him this year.
Yeah, you're right on that. But talent-wise, if I could pick a quarterback at this, he's good.
Yeah, I was just going, okay, who are we letting slide? And the name that jumped out to me was Andy Dalton, the top 5 in QBR, one of the top. Damn you, Gary.
Sorry, it happens. Hey, y'all stole mine. So.
All right, well, I have to go with a different steal since Gary stole mine. And this quarterback, gets made fun of a lot. And partially it's quite deserved. He doesn't have the cannon as a lot of these other quarterbacks have. but I think he has more smarts than nearly any of them, and he really showed it last year and leading his team to an 11-5 record, and that's Alex Smith. I think as he starts to get a few more weapons, he's been able to really expand his repertoire, and it kind of showed. I mean, everyone made fun of him. How many games straight did he have without throwing a touchdown to a wide receiver? And then all of a sudden he gets Macklin, and that offense really started to expand and be more dynamic. And hopefully if you can get Jamal Charles healthy the entire year next year, how much more is that going to help him? So I didn't get the steal I wanted with Dalton, but I think I still got a good one with Smith.
Well, you took mine, Randy. So
good. You can blame Gary. Gary started the domino effect.
Well, it's going to happen at some point, I guess. I'm going to go again with the youth on the side here. He looked pretty decent, I think, last year before he got the injury. I think he has better talent around him this year, certainly than last year. Or last year it was like all Delaney Walker and throwing it to other guys. Marcus Mariota, you got to take him here.
Stop the bleeding. Come on. They were stealing each other's. I mean, I was just hoping you were going to say Colin Kaepernick or something else, Sean.
No, I will say with the Mariota pick, the one thing that really worries me is the same thing I was talking about with Russell Wilson and holding the ball too long. Marcus Mariota, just looking through stats, got sacked almost 1 in every 10 pass attempts last year. And a lot of that, I think, is him trying to do too much. The offensive line is not that great in Tennessee, but he needs to learn to throw the ball away, or he's going to find himself on an injury report.
Or have a lot of interceptions.
Yes, very true. This is getting really difficult. It really is, because there's a lot of names I'm looking at now that I think, okay, well, how can I rank this guy over the other guy? And there's a guy I don't want to talk about at all, but we're going to have to on this list. And I kind of feel like if I don't pick him now, it's going to make me look really stupid. Screw it. I'm going to go with Young. I'm going to make you guys pick that guy. I'm going Tyrod Taylor. I know it sounds stupid, but I think the guy has talent. I don't think he's a bad player. I think that really, he's a guy that's kind of developing still at this moment. He is elusive. He makes things happen. I've been a believer in him. He didn't really stand up for me last year all the time, but I think he can get better.
So you think, you're not too much faith, as that was a 22nd quarterback we taken, but you think last year is not as much of a fluke? You think he's going to be able to repeat that?
I think he can. I know a lot of people don't believe in him. I personally do. I've always enjoyed his play. I just think with the right talent around him, I think he can make things happen for that team. It's a stretch, though. I'll be honest with you. It's a stretch.
You still put me in the fun situation. There's a couple names that I keep trying to avoid, but we're getting down to it. So, goodness. Guy, where do I want to go? Let's go. Throwing a dart. Jay Cutler.
Oh, man.
That's the one I wanted to avoid.
Yeah.
Somebody had to pick him, I guess.
And we're down to the point where I'm trying to give out stats and reasonings. I got nothing.
Cutler played much better last year, but you have to wonder how much of that was Adam Gase and how much was Jay Cutler.
That combination's still there, so it may continue to improve.
No, it's not. Adam Gase is in Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, I'm going to take Brock Osweiler here because...
Worst pick of the draft. Good job. No,
because he's got some terrific talent around him. He's got a good offensive line. He wasn't bad last year. He kind of tapered off and got more normal. And
because people got tape on him and realized his tendencies and figured him out.
Right.
You said it, Sean. He has a bunch of talent around him. The problem is he doesn't have any himself.
Maybe true, but All it takes is, no, you could argue that at times Houston's offensive line may be better than the Broncos, but hey, we'll have to see when we get to that season. I don't think this is a bad spot for him compared to who's left.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely, and I think so as well. And man, once again, maybe trying to avoid some names, but I think this guy really did not live up to expectations last year at all the moments that we really felt like he could have. Is he still a viable quarterback in this league? Is he still a guy that can, grow and actually reach the levels that we thought he could? I still think it's possible. I'm going to go with Teddy Bridgewater.
It's not bad. The talent pool, getting Treadwell makes them better. So,
yeah.
Still got Peterson.
Can I take Ryan Fitzpatrick right now?
Technically, he's not with the team right
now. Oh, man.
But look at who we have left.
I know who we have left, but...
You know what? Before the Jets got Fitzpatrick, I had high hopes for Geno Smith. I don't think was ever going to be a great quarterback, but I had high hopes that he could run the team okay. And then they got Fitzpatrick, and that he took over the team and led them to heights that I was shocked by. So I'm taking Geno Smith here for the fact that he still has Marshall and Decker. It's a great combination, far better than he has ever had as a quarterback of the Jets. He came in there a few times last year, was okay, wasn't anything special, but I think if worse comes to shove and he ends up being the starting quarterback for the Jets, I think he can manage the job okay, as long as he can keep his head out of it. He has the talent, he just makes really dumb mistakes. So I'm going to pick Geno Smith here. Again, it's the 26th quarterback we've picked, but the upside of Geno Smith compared to the rest of the people we have left on this list, I think, warrants me having to take him here.
I would disagree with you in that I think this is the year, this is the time. He has the coach that is supposed to be the quarterback guru. Maybe he lost a running back, but he's still got some talented receivers around. One that he has great chemistry with. I think Ryan Tannehill might finally have the mix that he needs. The offensive line has to be better at this point. At this spot, you can't really go wrong. I think this could be the time Ryan Tannehill finally steps out of that shadow and becomes the guy everybody says he's supposed to be.
Oh boy, Ryan Tannehill.
I know Gary hates him, but,
I really thought he could have been at 32. I really felt that way. But no, I understand. You got to pick guys that, it is Miami. I mean, can I take...
I love what we have left.
Can I just take Colin Kaepernick right now?
If you want to, I guess.
Yeah, I'm taking Colin Kaepernick. I mean, the guy has been to a Super Bowl. He made the lights go out in the Super Bowl. I blame him, not New Orleans. But yeah, I'll take him. He's been to a Super Bowl. Hey, who says he can't do anything good?
Who says? Lots of people says.
I know. I just...
He kind of proved it himself last year.
I'm making myself feel better about this whole thing, so we're going with that.
But again, I mean, look who we have left. I'm so scared to take a rookie in this discussion, especially when it's not a future pick. It's what are they going to do this year? So I'm not going to take a rookie. So really what that leaves me with is Sanchez, Griffin, and maybe Sam Bradford. It's wonderful. It's just a glorious thing. Out of those three, I'm going to take the one guy that, when healthy, showed the most talent, and I think maybe the fresh start that he is getting could really help him. So out of those three, I'm taking Robert Griffin III. Even though I have been making fun of Gary this whole time about trying to take him, I do think him getting out of Washington was the best for him. Going to a place like Cleveland where the expectations are not just minimal, they're non-existent, could help him, could humbleize him a little bit. And if there was ever a chance for RG3 to get back to where he was in the rookie level, it's there in Cleveland.
I'm going to take the one guy you didn't want to take. I think I'm going to take Jared Goff. You know, he has some questions there at receiver of all these new guys that have been brought in, and are they going to mix with the ones that have been there? Is he going to be able to have the rapport with everybody? I think he was the guy that's supposed to be most quarterback ready, and he's got freaking Todd Gurley back there that he's going to be able to, hand the ball off to. And even then, he's not a guy I think you're going to be able to stack the box against and go, okay, just you beat us and you're not going to be as good. I think Jared Goff's going to show some people in that first year, if that defense holds and is the defense still, even though they lost some guys, that they sort of were last year, and give Goff every chance, I think he's going to take some of those, and he's going to surprise.
So I get either, it looks like Sanchez or Bradford, right? Man.
Or you can take Wentz in the Eagles spot if you think he's going to take the job.
Yeah, if you think he's going to start. But he's got to start day one. Can't start.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. That's going to have Bradford, so F it. I'm going Sanchez.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I didn't want to have to put him on a list next to my name
So
anywhere.
We had the Eagles as the second worst team, and now Sam Bradford is the worst quarterback. Jeez, guys.
That's not true. I'm not taking Sam Bradford either. So, but I just wanted to say, because I've been looking up stats as we go through this, just looking things up. Mark Sanchez, 86 career touchdowns, 84 career interceptions. This is a quarterback that went to back-to-back AFC championships, guys.
Oh.
Wow.
Geez. Wow.
That is crazy to think about.
Mm.
Wow. So, I mean, wow, the road we've traveled to get to this point, and yeah.
But no, I will take Sam Bradford. I mean, I was going to make a joke and put Ryan Fitzpatrick here as a fail-safe, but I mean, that's who you guys left me with, Sam Bradford. He had 2 game-winning drives last season. That's all you can say nice about Sam Bradford.
You know why he ends up here, though? Let's just all be honest. Not a lot of success, and, he's brittle bones. Yeah. He can't never stay healthy. I mean, so.
You can't trust a guy like that. It's hard to trust him.
Mm-hmm. So.
All right, well, that does it for us doing this QB draft. Thought it went pretty well.
Yeah. What are we doing next? Are we doing running backs next? Receivers?
Well, I mean, if we got to get back on track, that means we got to do a show on Monday. So I guess running backs.
Running backs are fine with me.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So next week or on Monday, we will do the running backs, and then we'll do receivers on the next show. So what does the schedule look like here? Because we're already in the middle of the month. So if we do a show on Monday, that would be the 20th. I guess we could skip that Thursday, and then we could do. So what do we do? We want to do receivers for sure, and then
I would say, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do a running back one, a wide receiver one, and then a defense one.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, tight ends get the shaft.
Yeah, well,
Well, so let's do this.
That sounds very important.
So let's do this, just to kind of tie it in better. So we'll do running backs next week. We'll have the defenses, but instead of wide receivers, let's do wide receiver course for each team. And that includes the tight end.
Okay.
Oh, that makes it even more trickier.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to do.
Very smart, though. Very smart.
All right, so this Monday we got running backs. Then the next Monday we have the receivers, and then we'd have to do a Thursday show to do the defenses, and then after that we start our previews. So there we go. Seems like we got everything set for at least for our big themes, and then we'll see how the news goes, and judge it all based on that, I guess. And like I think I mentioned this, but what we'll do is are we going to do by division, I guess? So we'll do one conference in college, we can do a conference of college on Mondays, and then do a NFL division on Thursdays, and we'll see, and we'll just continue that until we get into when the seasons start. So should be like we got everything set. I'll talk to some people, see if we can get some help on those ends, and yeah. But until Monday, until the Tuesday morning show, make sure you go, if you've enjoyed the show and you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find me at WTimSean. Randy is at Randy Isbell. And Gary, just WTim Gary.
Yep.
And you can also, subscribe to this show. Go on iTunes and rate and review, Stitcher, rate and review. And you can go subscribe to WTO Network, where you not only get this show, you get the Wrestling the Max show, you get the Video Games the Max show, which we did all those E3 press conference shows, and thank you to everybody that listened to those, because we have to do a lot of work to get those things going and to get all the people and everything. We'll have our wrap-up show for E3 sometime on Friday. And you guys have a new backlog busting on Tuesday. What are y'all covering?
Yeah, I'm excited as we finish up the best of 2015 month on Tuesday, where we both have played through Until Dawn, which the first half of the game I did not like. The second half I absolutely loved. So I'm interested to discuss that with Wes. I am currently going through Ori and the Blind Forest and loving every second of that game right now. Mm-hmm. And Wes, partially because of financial reasons where and time reasons where we couldn't play The Witcher 3 or Fallout 4 in a 2-week period, Wes kind of got stuck with the shaft and had to play I Am Bread. So that discussion will be on the podcast as well as I'm sure we will hit on a couple main topics from E3, since we didn't really get to do our special due to laziness mostly.
That's always a thing that can happen. Totally okay though. But all right. Until Tuesday, we'll see you later, everybody.